Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit for the record resolution number 25109 from Siskiyou County, California Board of Supervisors, requesting that Governor Newsom of California proclaim a state of emergency regarding illegal pesticides and illicit cannabis operations. So ordered. Now, I want to be clear. The CCP is the existential threat to the United States of America. The CCP has set up operations to leverage cannabis operations, both illegal and, as you say, Mr. Larkin, legal operations in this country. They work hand in hand with the cartels in Mexico to undermine this country. So what is, in fact, a threat to the United States is not Homeland Security, but it's China and the Mexican cartels. Unfortunately, instead of having a hearing on the CCP and illicit activities in our country, some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are more interested in protecting their suppliers for their personal use than they are of fulfilling their duty and protecting this country. And I, for one, have had enough of this nonsense. We need to recognize the truth that the CCP is setting up operations in this country. They want to destroy this country. They want to see us on bended knee. And I say, hell no. So whether it's 1, 3 on the schedule, whether it's legal or illegal, we have to recognize the fact that the CCP is within our borders, they're buying our farmland, and they're growing whatever they can grow that they can make money off of. And my colleagues need to wake up and have an honest conversation about those facts instead of grandstanding and, again, protecting their own suppliers. Mr. Urban, are Chinese TCOs laundering money in connection to these illicit marijuana grow operations, and to what extent are they relying on pre-existing China money laundering networks in the United States?
So the pre-existing Chinese money laundering networks, those networks funded this substantial increase in Chinese organized crime cultivation marijuana operations. They're the ones that funded it and stood this up on a massive basis. For example, I never focused on marijuana trafficking during my career in DEA prior to this. What got my attention is when Chinese money launderers took over money laundering for the Mexican cartels in approximately 2018. As we stood up this intelligence gathering effort to understand Chinese organized crime, we were shocked at the marijuana grows that were in Northern California, exploiting the land, exploiting our money, our banking laws, our mortgage laws, taking water, taking electricity. The theft of it was just unbelievable. So we recognized that not only do we have to attack the Chinese money laundering network, but we also had an opportunity, right, and a need to attack the Chinese cultivation grows that were happening throughout the United States, Colorado, Oklahoma, California, Maine, and elsewhere. The Chinese money launderers are the ones that funded this and set this up. That's why you saw so much money and the scale happen so quickly.
Mr. Urban, just a few weeks ago, the Department of Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, I'm on financial services, which regulates that organization, highlighted the role of Chinese money laundering networks in partnering with the Mexican drug cartels to launder drug profits. How does the earned money from illegal marijuana trafficking facilitate their money laundering activities? And quite frankly, when you look at the supply chain that they are setting up, what other illicit goods may also be, such as human trafficking, are part of that supply chain?
One component of the organized crime revenue feeds the other. So for example, the money launderers and the ability to purchase land and goods throughout the United States for cultivation assist the money launderers, the human trafficking component. And getting back to the national security component to this, all of these revenue streams that is benefiting Chinese organized crime promotes and provides access points throughout our United States government, promotes access to different places that they can corrupt, financial institutions that they can undermine.
FinCEN recently warned that Chinese money laundering networks pushed over $300 billion through U.S. financial institutions in just 5 years. How much of that volume do you believe is linked directly or indirectly to illicit marijuana operations?
The majority or the significant component to that was the proceeds of Mexican cartel drug trafficking. a significant material component to that, right? I'm not going to put a percentage on it, but you're talking billions of dollars was the illicit marijuana trade. It like essentially put on steroids Chinese organized crime within the United States, the money they made off marijuana cultivation.
I want to thank the witnesses. I apologize, I didn't have questions for you, and I thank you to the chairman.
The gentleman yields. I now